like to share with you today a little bit of the idea of continuous attacking. And it was a core piece of what Carl taught at our dojo. And he taught this over years in different kinds of drills. And what I've done over the last few years is piece together some of those drills and do it in a progression. And kind of the platform is the advanced foot sweep line drill that I saw a few of y'all guys doing that. But the idea on the continuous attack is Carl had like a box of techniques. And those techniques were Daiashi, Kochi, Ochi, included foot stop, Sasai, as well as knee wheel. And you know, there were times when he would just say, none of y'all guys do hip throws. Or he'd say, a lot of times he'd have us raise our hand. Is anybody here over 35? And everybody here, okay, all y'all guys, no hip throws. And you know, he wouldn't come out and tell us the exact reason why a lot of times, but there's some commonalities between those techniques. And one is that they're what I call a low investment or a low risk technique, and that they're easy to get into. It's like in Aikido, it's the first thing that comes up after you get on the line for an off balance. The second thing is they're easy to transition from one to the other. And another thing is you don't get tied up so much with them. But a couple of the obstacles in making them into a continuous attack is in the learning progression is the desire to throw. Because you have to do it a little bit different to allow you to flow from one technique to the other technique. So a lot of people will overextend or get off balance trying to make the throw happen, and they'll lose the ability to do the next throw. So there's that piece, but what I'd like to start off with is getting everybody and teaching the advanced foot sweep line drill in a little bit different way. And the progression is I'm going to add a couple of techniques as we go along to that, to build a whole little repertoire of foot sweep techniques. They're easily chained together, and eventually the big goal is to take this to a point where it's part of your randori. And it's kind of funny, you really have to change your reward system. You know, everybody, they get out and do, happens all the time. I get out on the mat, it's a newer student, and I can tell immediately they're looking for that perfect throw. And you know, they're just moving around, and they're using a lot of strength, and they're looking for that perfect entry for that perfect throw. And this is totally different than that. And this it's real similar to some of the ideas in Aikido, in that you're looking for that first advantage. And once you have that first advantage, it's a way to maintain and keep that. And the funny thing is when you throw several techniques, you know, on every footstep, that geometrically increases their off balance. And the other obstacle in this is your own balance. And Carl put together a clinic back in 2009 where he was focusing on teaching Aikido people foot sweeps. And that's where I learned a great deal of this. It was, you know, I'd been doing Judo for years and years and years at that point in time, and I learned so much from that clinic. And so the interesting thing that we did was we took away the hands. So in the line drill, Torre didn't use his hands. Okay, we actually used a belt, and it was mainly so Aikido people would be comfortable with it. But it's very easy to do that where you have Uke take his grip and do everything without using your hands. And the main purposes of this is not so you can be really great and do these techniques without your hand. The main purpose is to be able to get in. We tend to, when we misstep and we don't get into the right position for the technique, tend to compensate with our hands. And that compensation sometimes even includes leaning on them because we're off balance. And by taking the hands away in these foot sweep drills, you have to get in the right position. And you kind of learn through failure. You get to those positions, it doesn't work, get to those positions, it doesn't work, and finally you start stepping into the right position, because if you had the hands, you'd be doing some manipulation and making things happen that, but you wouldn't be in the right position for them to be correct. So let's see, I need, you look right here. Brent?
Jacob.
Nice to meet you, Jacob. So let's start out, and I'm going to take these seams as a good line for the line drill, and just get a good judo grip. And the first piece is just the regular line drill. But I do want to focus on a couple of things on this. It might be a little bit different. Let me go ahead and start walking backwards. First you want to get in sync. So a couple of times, just walk with him. Get in rhythm with them. And never worry about missing the foot sweep. If you miss the foot sweep on one, you always got the next one. But okay, all right. So let's one more time. Let's go back and forth so I can show them. A couple of things that might be a little bit different is the way I catch this. As opposed to sweeping this across, I'm going to just hook. So it's important when you hook, is instead of bringing your foot like this, I see this all the time. I don't know if this is how y'all do your advanced foot sweep. We're taught to point it down. And what I'm doing, just keep your foot right there, is I want to come down and hook the back of the heel. The other important thing is, and this is a balance thing, I don't want to come off of it. I want him to come off of it. Because if I come off of it, it's his turn to attack. If he comes off of it, it's my turn to attack. So I want y'all to focus on that, get a good hook, make him step off of it, pull off of it, and then go into the next one. So here, let's just straighten that. So just walk. I'm going to catch. He's going to pull off. Whoop. And just get in. Get that down. It'll be without the hands. There's a little bit of a balance issue, but it'll get you in the right direction as far as where to position your feet. Your other foot that's on the ground when you're doing the sweep. So grab a partner, and why don't we use these lines as the barriers between each set of partners. Okay, well, let's go. I'm going to be watching a little bit, make sure everything's going right. But here, funny, where should you take it once you hook on? You shouldn't take it anywhere. You should follow. The idea of the way this was explained to me, this is an advanced foot sweep, and it's actually for when they're stepping forward. But we do this when Uke's stepping backwards. So how does that work? What's happening is, as they're going backwards, if you're doing it with the hand, we're focused on transitioning to the next technique. So we're not going to really work on this, but I just want y'all to see what this technique is about. Is when you're going into that, you want to touch them on their back leg just a tad. I don't know if y'all can see that I've done that. Not a lot, but I'm touching him on his back leg, on his right leg. And I'm doing that by pushing with my hands just a tad. And as I enter into the throw with my foot and a hook here, then I'm going to relax these. And I'm actually going to catch him coming forward into the throw. So I'm touching him just a tad on the back so he'll actually come forward, even though he's walking backwards. So that's the throw. We're not going to really focus on that, but you don't want to take this across. You want to hook and hold and follow, but don't follow to the point where you're overextended or off balance. You want to let him come off of it. And that's going to be a continuous theme. Carl used to talk about if there wasn't throws in Aikido and Judo, that you are giving them their best option is to fall down. That's your goal. We're going to step back even a little bit further than that, and we're going to give them one more option to walk off. And that is another incredible training tool that this eventually creates, is when we start putting other techniques into this drill, it's an incredible lesson for the uke to learn how to walk off. They're not going to be fighting these techniques, but doing these repetition over and over and over, they start to get the hang of just walking off the technique. And once you incorporate this into randori, it creates chaos. You think, oh, it's going to be real smooth and real perfect and everything. You start hitting somebody with 2 or 3 techniques on every step, their balance just creates so many variables as far as movements you can't predict, you can't create. I mean, we're going to show transitions and so forth, but most of these techniques transition together, so there's no particular chain, and your conscious, it goes beyond your conscious mind. You have to train this into your unconscious mind and internalize it. So it creates this chaos, and the better judo player is the one that's experienced that chaos and gone further and further into it. And the exercise that this is eventually going to get to is where you just see how many techniques that you can chain together without them falling down. And that's where, that's right before you start bringing this into your randori. And you got to pace yourself, do all this stuff as slow as you can, and think about the off balance and getting the foot techniques right. Let me put another little piece to this into the equation, and this is almost the whole entire lesson itself, but I'm going to go over it just a tad, and I think maybe this is real similar to what maybe Nick was showing last night, and it's kind of the glue between some of these techniques, and it's getting on the line. And that's always an issue, is that terminology, on the line. And Carl used to have long lectures on which piece you got. You got on the line is when 3 feet are in a row, and a lot of people will get a belt out. There's a line going through the middle of his 2 feet, and on the line is when I've stepped on the line and pointed my toes towards him. This would be across the line, and this would be down the line. So we're going to focus on the line, and it's going to be kind of the glue to a lot of these techniques. But how I'd like you to use this right now is, as you're doing your line drill, I want uke to always pause before he pulls off. And when you get down towards the end of your line, he's pausing. I'm going to step on this line, and I am going to float this foot, and I'm going to allow him to come forward. He's going to come forward. I'm going to follow with my foot to keep him off balance. Keep going. Walk around. And then I'm going to go back into my line drill. I'm supposed to be doing it out my hands. There you go. I'm here. I'm going to come out on the line. I'm going to follow him with this foot. He's going to walk around. I got plenty of time, and I'm back into my line drill. So try that out. I'll walk around, make sure everybody gets it. Got a question?
Yes, your second. So you step on the line and then follow with the second foot. Is there anything particular about your placement of the second foot?
Good question. So let me get into the here. So I'm placing this here. What I want to do with this other foot first is I'm floating it. I don't want to put weight down on this foot. And it's kind of funny. This is why this is a whole separate lesson. Is when I catch out here on this 3 foot in the line, I'm stepping where he would be off balance. So I'm somewhat protected from him being able to attack without cycling. Between up and down. He's got to recover, and then he can attack. So I'm safe for a bit, but I'm locking myself on a rise by being here and floating this foot. So I'm going to apply where when he puts this foot down right here, the idea is that's when I'm going to step. So I'm floating this guy, you step down, and I'm going to come out here just a little bit further so I can drop into his rise. And this opens up many techniques. You can do almost any technique from this idea of getting on the line and floating that foot. But for now, just go ahead and get a hold. So I'm here. I come out on the line. Whoop, it's all right. I'm just going to follow with this foot as he's coming around. Just travel the same direction he's going, but get the idea that you're gonna take that step once he puts that foot down. Float it. He puts his foot down and take the. So it's the. Let's do it one more time. So I'm here. I come out on the line. I float, and I come out just a little bit. Keep him off balance, because when we're here, we're in this position and we're turning, our momentum's going that way. And we're in a position where our feet, if I stayed here, our feet are pointed perpendicular to the momentum. That's a very dangerous place to be. You don't walk off that very well. And it's who walks off that the best who gets the throw. He can throw me. So that's why I do want you to concentrate on waiting for him to put that foot down and then moving out. That way it keeps him off balance. It keeps him from being his turn to do a technique. So try that out. Did that answer your question? That's all right. Try that out. Go ahead.
When that foot is floating and it lands after his foot lands, are you going down the same other line that he creates? When you come off this float, are you coming down?
I'm going parallel.
Oh. Okay.
I'm going parallel to that foot right now.
Okay.
Now there are techniques that you don't go parallel, like in double foot sweep. But I'm going right now just to kind of stick things together. We're just going parallel. We just want the timing to be where I drop into his rise. And you don't want to create too much separation there either, because it's going to be difficult to change the techniques. Now this doesn't mean that there aren't places for coming in closer to him and things like that. It's just for this particular exercise. Don't go all the way to the end. In fact, let me do a little. I'll stop. Let's change one little thing on this. We want to get this turned down real good, so we're going to cycle it a little bit more often instead of waiting until you get to the end. And we're going to put another piece to it. Is Uke gets to decide when it happens. We'll see how this works. But all right, so let's come here and go ahead and connect. So I'm going to go, and whenever I'm going to hook in, and whenever he decides he's not going to pull off of this, I'm going to come out. And I want him to do that 2 or 3, 4 steps instead of going to the end. That'll get us where we're working on that turn a little bit more, because that turn's going to turn into throws. So try that out, and I'll keep an eye out on everything. That way you get a little more repetition on the turn. Are you going to be my official helper?
No, sir,
no, absolutely. It's a very difficult drill to keep an eye on everybody on. If you have any questions, just let me know. And
just try to do exactly what you want me to do.
All right,
sir.
there you go.
You tell me what you want, and I'll try to.
Or just work in with those guys if you want as well.
Okay, sir. Whatever.
Stop you.
It'll come. It just takes a little practice, a few repetitions. Good. So go ahead and grab a hold. So on this turn, I'm here. Okay, here I'm doing. This foot right here, I'm not going to do this or even keep it out here. Even though I'm floating it, I'm going to bring it in underneath me so I'm ready. When I come out here, I'm going to start to counterbalance. That's gonna keep me, and it's going to happen naturally. You just want to try to, position the foot where, this is all kind of training your unconscious brain, where foot placement and balance is. But you want to try to recover it and bring it up underneath you, even though you're not putting weight on it. That way it's ready to take that step. If I keep it out here, I really, it's a big movement. I kind of have to recover my balance to match that next step. So, and don't forget, more turns don't do too many of the foot sweeps before you turn. Just do 2 or 3 and then do the turn. All right, go back. So a couple of things have come up, and here, let me see you for a second. And it's there's a little gap in this that a few people are realizing, and it's when Uke's walking around, and that's the prime place for techniques to happen, because not only does the both parties, the direction they're facing for a brief period of time is perpendicular to their momentum, that they also get closer together there usually, just by body mechanics of their, when they move. You know, they have this particular distance. As they come into that turn, they'll get a little closer together. So if the person that's doing the advanced foot sweeps, if he doesn't attack there, and that's why I put in that step to make sure you'll get that feel for attacking off balance there. But several different other attacks can be there as well. And so let's take a look at those. Hope I go ahead and get a hold. And so, okay, we're gonna stop here. I come out on this line. Now, I don't do double foot sweep on this usually, because it's not, double foot sweep's not a very sticky technique that transitions into the other techniques. So I stick with Daiashi on this. So as he steps forward, and I match this step, he comes forward with the other step, and I can come in and do the foot sweep. I just kind of follow that foot. I took him a little bit too far, just to show that technique's there. Don't really take him too far off balance. Just give him just a touch and follow him. And so it'll allow them to come around. So let's do it again. Come in here. I'm following you. I step through. And you just keep going. We just walk until I feel comfortable with catching it. And it's a good idea to allow a few steps on this turn before you start, because of what just happened right there. If he decides for me when I'm supposed to do the foot sweep, he'll present, and we want to try. You know, the best way to keep that out is to put a couple of steps in between, and then later on, as you get the hang of it and they get the hang of it, then you can do it right away. But that gives it. You don't want them doing the foot sweep for you. So I'm getting out. So let's work on that, and I'll show that there's another technique that goes along with that.
And then the thing here was you were just following the foot, but not trying to mess with him too much. So
yeah, you're not really trying to. We're going to try to stay away from throwing, because the less we throw, the more repetitions of this we get to do. And Carl always talked about, you don't throw. You set them up. Their best option is to fall down. So you're just trying to create the right architecture. We're just taking a little step back. And we're actually giving them a way out that's better than falling down. So we can chain all these techniques together. So try that out. See how that goes. How's your lunch?
Oh, it's good.
Thanks.
How do we stop him from spinning around backwards and practice touching the foot? Am I turning too early with my shoulders?
That's the next technique, I think. You're talking about they follow and
they're in for a soto guard.
They're in for a soto guard. Yeah.
They step, but as they step, they turn.
And then you're right into a soto guard. There's another technique if you go on the other side, if you're not going to do the left side, a soto that I might throw in, but not today. It's kind of new.
So Luke can intentionally try and take the next step.
Yeah, in this, to do this, when he comes out on the line, you have to take a step forward for this part to work. But there's going to be a piece where he turns tight on both sides.
I'm going to try not to spin you on your step. Okay.
Yeah, let me make sure what y'all are talking about.
All right. And then, yeah, bring that other foot. Yeah, trying to get you to take that next step. But what was happening was I was catching him come forward, and he turned, right, take that step forward, take that, he turned, right, he turned, as I'm turning him as he's coming off instead of just.
That opens that up. So
I guess I'm doing this with my body.
Right. To make the Daishi work in Randori, you have to make a pretty tight movement to catch them going forward. Because if you take a slow, if you come out here slowly and you don't affect them very much, they're just gonna turn you. So there's a little touch to be able to make this happen in Randori. If that makes sense. But if they turn, it's okay.
Right.
That's not how
it's a sort of guard.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's a sort of guard. Right, thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Yeah, that's an abnormal thing to do. That is. I mean, we're just doing it for this practice. But that would be, I wouldn't do that if I was walking around with somebody. They turn, I go straight, but that's just it. Once the progression makes it to the end,
Never hurt
it
nobody.
all fits into place. It's just a training tool.
Yeah, I'm ditching my balance sometimes.
Right.
Nice.
Not the way you get. Right.
Now it's going to be another technique. that's when that happens.
You found it?
What's that?
I love chaining techniques.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not very good at it. My question that we were looking at here is, does PK fall off that step?
No, they're not.
I have
I wouldn't take that step if I was doing Randori. To make Daishi happen on that corner is there's going to be some hand touches involved. It's a very abnormal thing for them to walk forward there. But there is another technique when they turn. Absolutely.
If you do the pivot, there's something else.
This is just a training tool. This is just a training tool.
This is a really
Hopefully, I'm going to get to all the way to the end of this where it all fits together and makes sense. But we'll see. It does over a period of time, but it's also. Yeah, I'll go into this. Y'all keep training. Oh, go ahead.
Can you do me a favor when you get back to the